Hey guys, so today's video is going to be a tutorial on this intense mermaidy green smoky eye look. A lot of you guys requested that I do a video using all the NYX products that you saw me show you in my Snapchat quite a while ago. So this is it for you today. I tried as hard as I could to use only NYX products, but there was some products that I didn't have. So let's go ahead and get started with the video. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off by priming my skin. I got several different primers that came in the gift bag from NYX. There's a pore filler, shine killer, and angel veil. I really want to try this one out. This is a skin perfecting primer. I've heard a lot of good things about this specific one. I actually see Mac Daddy on Instagram use it all the time, so I kind of want to try it out. Okay, so now for concealer, just around my eye area. I feel like my under eye circles and hollowness is like extra poppin'. I feel like the more I talk about it, the worse it gets. So I'm gonna like try and not talk about it anymore. I did get a bunch of different conceal, correct, and contour palettes that came in the gift bag. So I have this one, this is medium. I'm actually gonna take this shade down here. This is kind of more of a pinky shade, which is gonna be really good for color correcting any blueness that I have around the eye area. So I'm gonna take this shade right here. This is kind of a really soft peachy pink color. This is a Sigma P80 brush. And I'm just gonna add a little bit of that right to the inner corners of the eye. Okay, so I just dabbed that on to the hollows of my eyes. Now I'm just gonna add a little bit of under eye concealer just to kind of smooth everything out. I'm gonna go ahead and use the Maybelline Master Conceal Camouflaging Concealer in the shade Light Medium. So now I'm ready to do my foundation. I'm gonna use the HD Studio Foundation. This is in the shade Natural. It's number 103. I'm gonna apply it with the Buffer brush. This is from Makeup Addiction, Hair and Makeup Addiction. Okay, so now to highlight around the eye area. I didn't have a lot of really like liquidy stuff to do highlighting with NYX products, but I did find this in my makeup drawer. So this is a NYX foundation stick. This is in the shade Porcelain, so I'm just gonna add some highlight just around the eye area and down the nose. So now I'm just buffing it out with a beauty blender, and it does blend really nicely, just the foundation and the concealer with the foundation stick. All right, and then I'm gonna go ahead and do just a little bit of nose contour, and to do that, I'm gonna go back into this palette. This is actually a really good palette if you're similar to my skin tone or even a little bit lighter, just to do some contouring. I think a lot of contour shades tend to be really, really deep. So this would be good if you're more on the fair side. So I'm just gonna take this shade right here, which is a pretty neutral undertone shade, and this is a Luxie 110 brush, which has a synthetic flat top to it. And I'm just gonna run it up and down both sides of the bridge area of my nose. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and set around my under eye area, and to do that, I'm gonna use my highlight contour palette from NYX, but I just wanna add a really nice sheer setting powder first, just that way the concealer doesn't build up or anything. So this is the HD finishing powder. It's a mineral based one, and the shade is Banana, which I didn't think it was banana. It's a very, very soft yellow. So I always like to use a setting powder just because it makes me feel better about my foundation not moving throughout the day. And I don't have a setting powder that's my skin tone from NYX, so I'm gonna go ahead and use this one from Maybelline. This is the FitMe powder in the shade 220, the matte poreless one. And I'm just gonna use a fluffy brush. This is the F30 from Sigma, and I'm just gonna lightly dust it all over my face. If you live somewhere hotter or somewhere that's more humid, it's always really good to set your face so your makeup doesn't move throughout the day. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and jump into the contour just for my cheekbones. So I'm gonna use the NYX contour palette. You guys know I've been raving about this. I really, really love it. I'm gonna go ahead and use this shade. This is one of the more bronzier kind of shades. And just using an angled fluffy brush. A lot of people ask me where this brush is from. This is from a kit that I got at Costco a really long time ago. Some people like to use something really skinny to really carve out the cheekbones, but I like to use something that's a little bit more subtle. So the first bronzer that I want to use, this is their matte bronzer in the shade Deep Tan. I got this a few years ago, and I did hit pan. I think that's what you say. You hit pan on it. And I'm just gonna take, this is a Bare Minerals Flawless Face Brush, and I'm just gonna add it to the forehead and then down the sides of my cheeks. And this one is a matte bronzer too. I don't know if I said that already. So whenever I do my complexion first, I like to hold off on the blush and wait till I'm done with my eye makeup, so that way I can kind of see which blush is gonna work best for the eye makeup that I have. What I'm gonna do now, I'm just gonna go ahead and add a light concealer to my eyes as an eyeshadow base. So I'm just using a concealer. I'm just gonna pat it on the eyes, buff it out with my finger, and then set it with a sheer powder. All right, so the eyes are ready. I'm gonna go ahead and do my brows because I really, really need to put them on. And I'm gonna try out the Tame and Frame. This is a tinted brow pomade. I'm pretty sure this is one of their newer products. This is in the shade Brunette. All right, so I'm gonna apply my brows using an eyeliner brush just because I do have naturally pretty thin brows, so I don't like to use a really full brush. It just kind of makes them too big on me. To fill in the front part, I want to do it a little bit lighter than what's going on back here. I'm wondering, do I have like eyeliner in my brush or something? So I'm gonna go ahead and finish and just add some towards the front of my brow using the Ash Brown micro brow pencil. And I'm just gonna do little small strokes going upward to make it look a little bit more natural since the tail is pretty strong. I do like the pomade. I think it came out a lot darker because I'm pretty sure there was black eyeliner still in my brush. But the pomade worked really, really well. I just went in just to soften it out a little bit using this pencil. Really like the pencil too to help make it look a little bit more natural. So now we're gonna go ahead and start on the eyeshadow, and I'm really excited because I wanna do like a really intense, sparkly emerald and like mermaidy green eye. So I'm gonna be using this palette. This is the Waiting for Tonight palette. And you can go ahead and sing the JLo song now if you want. This has a variety, multiple different shades in it, so you can get tons of different looks, which is pretty cool. I'm gonna start out with my transition color in the upper crease area, and I'm going to use this shade right here. It kind of reminds me of Uninterrupted. It's like a warm, kind of nice neutrally brown shade. So I'm gonna use, of course, my favorite MAC 217 brush. And I'm gonna focus this shade. I'm gonna stick my brush in the crease and then buff it into the upper crease, and I am gonna take it all the way across my eye. Okay, so now what I wanna do, because I plan on doing a really intense, smoky, sparkly green on the lid, I'm gonna add something a little bit deeper just into the crease. That way it kind of all blends together really nicely. And I'm gonna go with this chocolatey brown shade, this one right here. So I'm just gonna stick that just a little bit lower. You see I kind of blended the other one really high, so that way it blends nicely. I'm just gonna put this one a little bit lower. So I'm gonna go in with the eyeshadow base. This is a black base. A lot of people ask me why I use black eyeshadow base. I do it whenever I do purple, like I want a really intense purple shadow. You could use it for blue, like a really intense electric blue, or now I'm gonna do green. The reason, it just helps to brighten it and make it look more intense for those particular shades. I don't really know what the science is behind it, it just works. So I'm just gonna take this is like a flat shader brush, and go in here. I'm not gonna apply it like really densely, but I'm just gonna add it all over the lid underneath the dark brown. So I'm just packing it in the center of my lid and then buffing it towards the crease. For the actual lid color, we're gonna go in and use this emerald, like sparkly deep green shade. So now using that same shader brush, I'm just gonna pack the green eyeshadow directly on top of it. Okay, so now on the lower lash line, I'm gonna add just the two transition shades that I used in the crease. Just gonna kind of double that up right on the lower lash line just to make it look a little bit smoky. So I like to do the lighter transition color first and then go back in with the darker one. And this is a pencil brush, this is MAC 219. All right, now for the waterline color, I don't have any NYX pencil liners, unfortunately. So I'm gonna use this one from LA Girl, and this is brown, so just a brown eyeliner. Okay, so what I really think is gonna make this look really unique is the next step. And this is one of their new formulas. I'm pretty sure this is their Prismatic eyeshadow, and I've been so desperate to use this color, I can't even tell you. I've been swatching it like every single day. This is in the color Mermaid, and it's literally, it looks like mermaid scales or something. It's the prettiest intense eyeshadow ever, and I just wanna add a lot of it right on the inner corners of the eye and kind of, I don't know, I just want to make it look really mermaidish. I'm just gonna buff it to the inner corners of my eye using a pencil brush. This is the Sigma E30. All right, now I'm gonna add some mascara. I don't have a NYX mascara. I have a ton of their colored ones, but I already have a lot of color going on my face right now, so I don't want to add colored mascara. So I'm using the Makeup Forever. This is their Smoky Stretch Mascara Extension and Definition. I think this is one of their new mascaras. All right, so I'm gonna come back in with a flat definer brush right here and use this black shade in the palette right over here. And just add a little bit of smokiness to the lower lash line. For false lashes, I definitely wanna add some because I just need some to balance it out. I am going to go, I think with the Ardell Wispies, these are some of my go-to lashes. They're just really nice and wispy and fanned out, so you can still see a lot of the eyeshadow color. That was like the most challenging lash application of my life, I'm pretty sure. I got like glue, I think glue got on my tweezers and they kept pulling my lashes off and it was all bad. So for blush, I'm gonna go with this shade. I thought this was really pretty. This is called Nude Tude, which is funny. Looks like this is their new packaging for blushes, which I like a lot. So I'm gonna apply just a little bit of this to the cheeks just because I don't wanna do anything too intense because this eyeshadow is like nuts right now. Everybody asks every single time I put on blush. This is the Crown IB126 Chisel Blush Brush. And I'm just gonna apply it and kind of buff it in circular motions and blend it into my highlight and my contour. And then I do wanna add a little bit of more like shimmery kind of bronzer to the cheeks. So I'm gonna go in back to this palette and use this bronzer right over here, which is a lot more shimmery. I didn't use a shimmery bronzer, so it's just shimmery in general. I'm just gonna add it with the same bronzer brush that I used, and I'm just gonna kind of bring it like right in this area right here. I've had this for quite a long time and I've never used it, but I just played with it a little bit and I really like it. I'm just gonna take a little bit of the lighter section over here and just add it right to, I don't wanna do like an intense shimmery highlight just because the eyes are so intense already. I don't wanna overdo it. So I'm gonna take a little bit of this NYX Sunkissed Radiant Finishing Powder and just kinda add that to the tops of the cheekbones. I'm gonna focus it more in this lighter section over here. Tends to be looks like a little bit more my skin tone. I'm actually kind of obsessed with this now. So this is really good if you are wanting to do like brightening of the skin but not add too much of a shimmer. I know I use a lot of like really foily looking highlighters, but this one's really pretty to add to the skin. See how it just adds kind of like a glow without being shimmer? So I'm kind of obsessed with that. This is in the color Sunkissed. Okay, so now I'm gonna move on to lips, and I wanna do something really subtle on my lips, but I really wanna try out their new lip products. So they have the high voltage lipsticks. They look like this. I have like a bajillion of them. A lot of them are really like intensely colored, and I don't want to use any of that today. And then they also have the Intense Butter Gloss, which is really pretty. It's just a really intense lip gloss. I think I'm gonna end up going with, this is in the color Tan. It looks kind of corally on the screen, but I'm pretty sure it's tan. I'm not gonna add a lot. I just wanna get a little bit of pigmentation just because my lips are kind of dry right now. I'm gonna throw on a gloss on top. And then I am gonna add one of my favorite NYX glosses. This is their Butter Gloss in the color Fortune Cookie. Okay, so we're all done with the makeup, and I really like the way that the look turned out, but I did want to share with you guys some of the favorites that I have just from their new spring line that just recently came out. So this is the Nude Tude Blush. I've always loved NYX blushes. I know I don't use them all the time, but this was a brand that I used very frequently in high school when they only had it, I think, at Long's. So I really like this nude blush. It's a really good neutral shade. It had very soft pink undertones to it. So if you're doing something really loud on your eyes or loud on your lips, this is a really good go-to blush to use, and it's matte. This has always been one of my favorites from NYX, which is just their matte bronzer. And this was in a drawer that I haven't opened in a long time, but you can see I really like this bronzer. I've used it for quite a long time. But their bronzers are really good if you're looking for a good, inexpensive one. I definitely recommend this one. Well, you guys already know I'm obsessed with this highlight contour palette. I've said it like 1,000 times, so I don't really need to say much about that, but just their prismatic shadows are insane. These are pretty much the same quality as any high-end eyeshadow if you're looking for like a foiled or intense shadow. And then a couple other favorites I just want to touch on really quickly are these two things right here. So this is the medium Conceal, Correct, and Contour palette. So I use the pink shade around my eye area. If you have really dark under eye circles, doing color correcting either from this or from the deep palette might benefit you quite a bit before you put your concealer on. It's just something to try out and experiment with. And then this, I just thought this was a really pretty subtle kind of glowy highlight without having any shimmer in it. And it also would go great with a lot of different skin tones. So I just wanted to share with you guys some of my favorites. I had a lot of fun putting this video together for you guys. If you want details for any of the products that I use, make sure you check the description box down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and thank you so much for watching.